Hi, in this video I'm going to show you guys how to create a trading bot for trading Bitcoin using Coinbase Pro. And if you don't have Coinbase Pro, I attached a link in the description to sign up using my referral code. Full disclosure, I get, I believe, $10, and you get $10 too if you sign up and you start trading using it. But no pressure. If you don't have a Coinbase account, just go to Coinbase.com and sign up for one. When you sign up, you can use your Coinbase account to get Coinbase Pro. So what is a trading bot? A trading bot is a bot that will buy and sell crypto on your behalf. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to make a bot to buy and sell crypto. And to do that, first we need to create an API key. I'm using the sandbox version of Coinbase, so none of this is real money. Um, and we're gonna create a new key. It's called YouTube tutorial. And for this, we can view and trade. And this is the passphrase is important. Be sure to jot this down somewhere. And I'm going to create a new window in Sublime Text. We're going to be writing this in Python. So CV Pro passphrase, just create a save of all of this. I need Google Authenticator to get into my account. And then take a note of the secret. And then once you're done, you'll get the public key and take a note of that too. So how we're going to interact with CB Pro, there's a Python library that we're going to use. It's called Coinbase Pro. And you can install this using pip. If you are familiar with pip, this should be super easy. If you don't know pip, it's really easy to learn. Just Google how to use pip Python, and there'll be plenty of documentation. So let's save this. And I already created a version of training system, so I'm just starting this from scratch. It's a YouTube tutorial. Save it.constants.py. And then let's start a file, trading systems.py, and then trading tools.py. So we're writing this in Python, and I'm going to write the basic boilerplate. Create a class. And we're going to import CB Pro since I already installed it, and then also import constants. So let's start it, and we should first create a authentication instance of this. So we can do that here. We would just call it cbpro.authenticated client. And we're going to import our constants from our constants file. So secret key, public key, and then passphrase. We need all three of these to access our CB Pro account. And we're going to use an API URL. Since we're not using the main CB Pro API, we're going to use a sandbox. We need to specify that inside of the authentication client. And once we have that, we can create an initializer for our trading systems. It takes a CB Pro client, and we can assign that to CB Pro client. Cool. So now we have a basic trading systems class. Let's create that here. Call it the auth client. Cool. So we created the CB Pro trading systems, and now we need to define what our main methods are. So we have a trade. We should probably have a function to view accounts. We should probably have a function to view order, and this will take an order ID. And then we should also have a function for getting should have a function for getting the current price of a Bitcoin. And I think those are good, a good couple functions to start. So there's a couple helper methods here, and there's the way Coinbase is structured is there are different pairs. There's BTC to USD, BTC to ETH, ETH to USD. For this situation, this case, we really just need BTC to USD because that's the pair that we're going to be mainly trading. For the trade, we need an action, and then we also need an amount, and then also a limit price. For the view accounts, we should put a currency pair. For the view order, we already have order ID, and then current price of Bitcoin is self-explanatory. So the easiest one to start out with is we should get the current price of a Bitcoin. And to do that, there's a pretty easy function. We just need to get the quote. And to do that, we call Coinbase self.client.get product ticker. And then we pass a product ID, which we know is BTC to USD. And this would be the current tick. So the current tick would be the current bid, the ask, and the quantity. And to get the current bid price, which is the current buy price, which we would return the tick.bid. So we can call that and try it out and run it inside of our terminal. So this is the current price of the Bitcoin. If we go on BTC, the ticker, this is about accurate. It's a little off because the price of Bitcoin changes so rapidly. And also Google might not necessarily have the most accurate value of Bitcoin. So this is what the current bid price is. This is the last tick that was executed. So now we have the current price of the Bitcoin. Next, we need to view our account balance. So viewing accounts, we can use the get balances function. And to do that, we would just need to call the we would have to call the get accounts function. So we can call client.getAccounts. And then the way the accounts works is we would get all of the accounts on our Coinbase account, but we need to filter it. Based on the account that we actually want. So to show, this is what the get accounts function would give us. And we really just need the BTC and the USD. So for view account, if we pass in BTC, we can call a filtering function. And we can iterate through the array to find the one that equals account currency. And again, call it like this, and then we can print out the account afterwards. And this will return the account that we're looking for. So sorry, it's been a little bit since I used the filter, so what this doesn't actually execute it immediately. We would have to transform into a list to force it to apply. And I'm just going to print the X to see if this is, there we go. I'm calling it with the wrong variable. There we go. So now we just return the 0 of that. And now we have the account that we need, and we can see the balance. And we can return that. So we can print the trading system to account for BTC, and then we can also call the balance. So now we can see the balance of Bitcoin that we have. If we can replace this for USD as well to see our USD, so we have $23 in our account. And we'll save this. We'll save this for a method for later. Next, we need to start to write a trade. So trading, there's really two actions. There's buy and sell. So we can define a. We could really do an enum. In this case, we can just use a constant buy sell to just make this a little easier. And we can have two conditions. If the action is equal to buy, then we do something. Otherwise, if the action is equal to sell, then we do something else. And the way to buy something using Coinbase Pro is we can call the client, and then we can call the buy function. We need to pass a couple of variables in. These are only the required ones. We need the price, which we have here. We need the quantity, which we have here. We need the order type. Typically, it's best to use limit, because if you use a market order and somebody comes in right before you, you might your price you buy it at might be different than what you actually were imagining, especially if you have a large buy order. If you are buying like a sizable chunk of the market, then your price could go up as you clear more quantity. As you buy more and there's not enough supply to satisfy that, your price might go up. And then we also need the product ID. Since we're only dealing with BTC USD, we can just hard code that for now. And then let's just enable overdraft. Let's disable that so we don't accidentally request more money from our bank account. And then the converse is true. We can just call sell to sell something. And we have the limit price and the quantity. So what these return is a response object that is the order ID and the overall order information. And if we print the response, you can see that. So if we call trading systems.buy or trade, and then let's tell it to buy something. Let's set the limit price to be the last price of Bitcoin. And this to get current price. And then let's say the quantity is, we have whatever US dollars is in our account. And you can divide that by the current price of the Bitcoin. And then lastly, the quantity. And lastly, let's make this code a little bit nicer and put current price into a variable. The USD balance into a variable, so we can write something nicer like this. So if we call this function now, this method now, you can see that we have an error. We can't really divide a string by string, so let's cast these as a float. And then just best practices, we should probably cast this as a float as well. So we currently don't have enough money. This is just throwing an exception. Coinbase doesn't let you trade amounts that small, so we can go into our Coinbase Pro account, and then we can actually add more US dollars. So to make this transaction happen, so let's throw in $500 and call this again. Now we have another issue, which is Coinbase lets the smallest unit be one a millionth of a to the 8 decimal precision. So we need to create a rounding function to round this value. I actually have a rounding function pre-written, so I could just copy that in. And these are just helper functions to make your life a little easier. And let's call the quantity, we can round it here. And then we can call this again. So I'm actually using I used a library called Decimal. This is important for using dollar values because float is not extremely precise. Decimal is 100% precise. So you don't want to have a miscalculation when you're dealing with money. So now we're using insufficient funds. Let's actually move this quantity down a little bit. So we'll know that we can handle the fees and everything. And now we have our order. So this is our order information. We bought it at the current price of Bitcoin. We bought 0.0093 Bitcoin, and now we have an order ID. So it doesn't actually get executed immediately. It sets the status as pending. If we go to orders on our Coinbase, we should be able to see our open orders and the ones that are filled. So this is the order we just put in. You can see that it has a fee of about 0.5%. This is a standard Coinbase fee that it takes. And we can see that it's filled. So this is the view order function. What we can do is actually call the client, and then we can get the order information. So if we took our previous order ID, we can actually call trading systems dot view order, and we can get the last order information here and print it. So we can't execute this trade again since we don't have any more funds in our account, but we can view the order status. And now the order status should be filled. So you can see that it is filled and the order is closed. You can also see the order information. So if this is something that is pretty important to keep when you write your application, and you can see the fees. So to prove it, 2.59 divided by the total order quantity, which is 518.1. You can see it's about 0.5%, and this is a taker's fee and the maker's fee. This is required by Coinbase because they act as a role of the market maker, and they execute the trade almost immediately in exchange for a small fee to float the difference. So this is a very simple trading system to help you trade. This is the infrastructure for building the trading system. Uh, Without this, you can't really execute trades programmatically. Um, in the future, I will put out more videos about explaining how to more automate this. And how to execute trades programmatically. A couple buy and sell signals that are important to note and could help your program make decisions whether to buy and sell. Otherwise, thanks for watching and good luck.